Hey friends, happy Sunday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. Today's is another quick one with super easy meals. We had a really busy week this week. Andy was on vacation. We celebrated Lily's birthday. It was also Memorial Day, so we spent some time with family. And then it was actually Lily's birthday, and so it's just been a very busy week. I kept the meals really simple. If you're new here, hello, welcome. I'm Taylor. I'm a stay-at-home wife and mom, and I share these What's for Dinner videos every Sunday to hopefully give you some new meal ideas and motivate you to cook more for your family. I typically try to make 3 new recipes a week. That way you guys can get some new ideas, and I'm not always making the same stuff. But this week is a little different for the reasons that I mentioned previously. But if you like these kinds of videos, I hope you'll stick around and subscribe down below. Now let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. Friday night we just had spaghetti. I told you, keeping it super simple. So spaghetti noodles, some sauce with some ground beef, Parmesan cheese on top, and then I had some leftover hot dog buns. I mentioned last week that my aunt sent me home with a bunch of leftovers, and so there was a bunch of hot dog buns and not any hot dogs. So we just put some Chef Chamois garlic butter on there and turned them into garlic bread. Saturday we had some salmon and fried rice. So I made this salmon previously, but I think I did it in the oven that night, and this time I'm doing it in the air fryer. I just have some salmon fillets here, and I'm coating them with the Soyaki sauce from Trader Joe's, and then I'm going to sprinkle them with some everything about the bagel seasoning. And I realized while I was sprinkling it on that I was basically completely out. So I would put it on every single piece, but I ran out last time I did make it with it, and it was really, really good. First time I think I've ever ran out of that. And then I just put these in the air fryer on 400 for 12 to 15 minutes. It just depends on the thickness of your salmon. And then once it was done, it was nice and caramelized and browned on top. And I just served this over some fried rice. I've shared my fried rice recipe many times here. I will leave a video link below where I made that in depth. So if you're interested in that, that'll be in the description box. Sunday was the day that we had Lily's birthday party. It was in the afternoon at 3 o'clock. That was just basically some snacks and cake and ice cream, but I knew I wasn't going to want to cook a big dinner after her party, so I made Mississippi pot roast, and I got that in the crock pot early in the morning, and that was just out of the way. I like to do a 3-pound chuck roast, put that in the bottom of the crock pot, and then sprinkle on half of a package of au jus gravy, and then half a package of ranch seasoning mix. And then I add on 2 pounds of carrots that I have peeled and cut into bite-sized pieces. And then I do 2 pounds of the baby potatoes. And most of the time I cut those in half. It just depends on the size. The smaller ones I'm just going to leave whole. And then I sprinkle on the rest of the au jus, the rest of the ranch. I do 1 stick of butter that I cube up, and then some of the pepperoncinis and some of the juice. Put a lid on this, let it cook on low for 8 to 10 hours. And then at the end, I like to just scoop out all of the vegetables and put them in a bowl on the side. And then I have access to my meat in the liquid, and I can just shred that up. My family likes to eat this over white rice. I prefer to eat it just as it is without any rice. So I made some white rice in the Instant Pot for them, and I will have the video for my perfect white rice in the Instant Pot linked down below for y'all. Monday was Memorial Day, and if you saw the vlog, you know we went to my Aunt Peggy and Steve's house, and they cooked hot dogs and burgers on the grill. We had chips and baked beans and salad, and we just spent the evening over there having dinner and hanging out at the pool with them. It's Tuesday, and it's Lily's 9th birthday, and so she got to pick dinner for tonight. She had originally said she wanted tacos and me to cook them, but we ended up doing that for lunch. So we ordered pizza for dinner from Pizza Man.
It smells so good.
It's a meat pizza, so it's got all of the meats. And then when we were at the mall earlier today, we picked up a cookie cake because we had some cake on the weekend at her birthday party, but it's gone, and you can't have no cake on your birthday. So we got a cookie cake that says happy birthday Lily with the 9. So that is going to be dinner for Tuesday. Wednesday night, I made my copycat hamburger helper stroganoff. So I start out with a pound of ground beef, and I'm going to brown that up with some seasoning. I did some salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, rosemary, and then if you can get it, the umami seasoning from Trader Joe's. Adds a nice mushroom flavor without actually having mushrooms. So I just cooked that up until it was all nice and browned. I also typically add in some like minced garlic, but I did not feel like actually mincing garlic this night, so I didn't do that step. The ground beef that I buy is typically pretty lean, so I don't need to drain it, but if you do need to drain that, go ahead and do that. And then I add in 1 cup of beef broth, 1 cup of milk, and 1.5 cups of water. This time I actually was doing all water and then adding in some beef bouillon to turn 1 cup of that into beef broth. So I did like a teaspoon of beef bouillon, and then I have this Campbell's like savory stuff to add, and I found it at Dollar Tree for $1.25, but apparently it's really expensive if you have to look online for it. But it's got like a mushroom flavor, so I add some of that in because I thought it would give it a nice flavor, you know, more mushroom because it is stroganoff and typically there is mushrooms in that. I added a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and then I add in 4 cups of egg noodles, and then I'm gonna bring that to a boil. And then once it comes to a boil, I turn the heat down to a medium-low and cover this and let it simmer for about 7 minutes until my pasta is tender and most of the liquid is absorbed. And then all you have to do is taste it, see if it needs more seasoning, make sure your noodles are done, and then add in about 1/2 cup to a cup of sour cream. And then once it's heated through, it's ready to serve. I always serve stroganoff with a can of peas on the side. That's how my mom always did it when she made a boxed hamburger helper. Anytime it was the beef pasta or the stroganoff, we always had peas and buttered bread on the side. So we also had some buttered bread with this as well. And it's delicious. Even though it's not the boxed hamburger helper, it still reminds me of my childhood. And I think it's better than boxed hamburger helper. I grew up on that stuff though, so it's really like nostalgic for me. And finally, the last meal of the week was sausage, green beans, and potatoes. This is a family favorite. I originally got this recipe from Kat over at Southern Farm and Kitchen. I always have her video linked down below, as well as basically how I make it, like my recipe down there as well. I like to eat it with some hot sauce on top. Usually we have some buttered bread with this as well. I wasn't feeling it this night, but the kids had some buttered bread with it as well. And that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. I hope that you still got some ideas, even though it was a quick and simple one. Let me know down below if you plan on trying any of these recipes, and make sure you leave a smiley face emoji down there as well, letting me know you made it here all the way to the end. I hope you have a great week, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!